This is Thunder. It's Robin's neutral special, and one of the strongest moves in their arsenal, even being considered their strongest move to some people. It's also one of the main reasons why Robin is considered a zoner, although I do think calling Robin a trapper character is more accurate, but that's not important right now. Thunder is the first stage of a 4-stage chargeable projectile, but in this video we're only going to be covering Thunder. I'll be covering each stage of Thunder in its own video, and going into detail about each of them, covering things like frame data, where and when it's useful, and more. But with the intro out of the way, let's get right into it. This is the Thundamentals Part 1, Thunder. First up, I'm going to give you an overview of Thunder, starting with frame data. It takes 7 frames for Robin to enter the general charge state, then after pressing special again, another 8 frames for Thunder's hitbox to come out. So if you go into the charge state and release Thunder as fast as possible, you're looking at a frame 15 projectile, which is pretty fast in the grand scheme of things. It's active for 15 frames, but travels pretty far and is minus 12 on shield, pretty good for a projectile. Thunder also has a set knockback until absurdly high percents, which gives it a huge combo potential. More on that later. Moving on to its uses. Thunder is one of Robin's main tools for zoning alongside Levin aerials. Thunder is a powerful information gathering tool. How your opponent reacts to Thunder initially and how they play around it later on will dictate how you use this move. If they play around it with shield, then they're more likely to be grabbed. If they play around it by jumping over, they're more likely to be anti-aired. Thunder's set play slowly evolves throughout the game depending on how they play around Thunder. The key to using Thunder properly is to counterplay their counterplay, playing literally 3 steps ahead. For example, if they're counterplaying Thunder by jumping over it, you would bait this by showing them your Thunder charge, then canceling it and jumping in with an anti-air. This is your layer 1. A good player would likely realize you're baiting their jumps and stop doing it, instead staying more grounded and using shield. This means that you can use Thunder more freely on the ground and land more grabs, as they're going to be playing more grounded because they can't jump. This is your layer 2. Layer 3 is not something you need, as adding a 3rd layer into this conditioning would overcomplicate things. Keep it simple. This is commonly referred to as conditioning, which is repeatedly doing the same thing to create a response from your opponent that can be easily predicted. An example of early game conditioning you can do with Thunder is creating a pattern of shooting 2 Thunders. This gets your opponent familiar with your Thunder usage, and they'll likely start responding to the 1st or 2nd Thunder. This conditions them to either jump over, stay grounded, and do things like crawl if they have one, do something like dash back or shield. Watch closely and see how they respond to this pattern, as it will dictate the next steps you need to take. Basically, just show them the Thunders and let their pattern recognizing brains fire off neurons and do the rest for you. The goal of Thunder is to gather information, and at the same time slowly push them into the corner where you can hold advantage until it's time to put them off stage and take their stock with either edge guarding or ledge trapping. Small tip for using Thunder in the corner. If you can hit your opponent with Thunder while they're right on the edge, it puts them into a 50-50 scenario where they're forced to either grab the ledge or use their double jump back on stage or drift off stage. If they choose to grab the ledge, you can react to the ledge grab and set up your ledge trap with arc fire. If they choose to double jump and drift on stage, you can trap them by jumping back with an aerial, and now they're off stage with no double jump. Drifting away from the stage after a double jump will give you the same result as them grabbing the ledge. Just make sure to time the start of your ledge trap to them grabbing the ledge. Now, all of these things are great, sure, but with the pros, there's also cons. Thunder is weak to jump-ins, reflectors, and is generally pretty bad at close range without proper conditioning. The jump-in's weakness is really only a weakness with poor spacing. General rule of thumb is you almost always want to use Thunder from max range, as it gives you the best possible safety net in case they jump in or dash shield at just the right time. With these factors in mind, Thunder is at its strongest if used from the max projectile range. However, there are some situations where it's better to use it closer to the opponent, which I'll get into in this next segment. The last thing I'll be talking about with Thunder is its combo potential. As I mentioned earlier, Thunder has a set knockback. Set knockback means that the move will always inflict the same amount of knockback for a long time. And for Thunder's case, I'm talking like 300%. And because of this, Thunder can set up for kill confirms at basically any percent, or if they're at a lower percent, you can still get a good chunk of damage. These confirms are primarily ones that only work if you catch them in the air with Thunder, so something like catching a short hop. And tying this back to the double Thunder conditioning example I gave earlier, if they're responding by preemptively jumping over the 2nd Thunder, you can instead shoot the 1st Thunder, then jump in with a short hop Thunder to catch their jump and take their stock with something like back air. As I mentioned before this, there are times where Thunder is useful at close range, and it even has combo potential with things like dash attack. If you're curious about its full combo potential, I created a video that showcases almost every Robin kill confirm. The link to it is in the description below. Additionally, it can be used as a landing mix-up to catch dash-ins, but without proper conditioning or an overuse of this, you're going to get punished pretty quickly. As a closing point, I wanted to briefly discuss discards, as I haven't really talked about them before on this channel. When you run out of a spell or leaven, only pick up the discard if this criteria is met. 1. Grabbing it does not result in you giving up stage control, advantage, or an otherwise guaranteed punish or stock. 2. You aren't giving up valuable resources like double jump to pick up a discard. Only pick up the discard if you can do so in a way that does not make you lose value in a given situation. A quick and easy way to pick up discards specifically is to buffer jump plus grab during the end lag of your last use of a special such as Thunder. If done correctly, you'll pick up the discard instantly and be able to act immediately, which is a great way to continue pressure and advantage. So if you have to run across the stage in the opposite direction from your opponent just to pick up a discard after you just put them in disadvantage, if you love her, let her go. She'll be back. I want to give a big shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you all so much for supporting myself and the channel. If you're interested in supporting and you want to check it out, the link to my Patreon is in the description below. Thunder is one of the most powerful specials in the game, and it's only elevated by its later stages too. With a better understanding of its strengths and weaknesses, as well as the overall goal of using Thunder, you'll find that your pressure and neutral will get a lot stronger. So I hope you all will join me in the next part of my 4-part series where I teach you the ins and outs of Robin's Thunder and its later stages. Thanks for watching.